when you talk about non-Malay PM, you are being racist. Because you shouldn't ask the question whether it's a Malay or a non-Malay. I read a book by a well-known author, and he was talking about a very well-known, about a pilot. He gave the name of the pilot, and I didn't figure out that he was black. But later on in the book, only it turned out that he was a black pilot. He didn't mention that he is a black American. He is just an American, you see. So whether it is Malay or non-Malay, if he is acceptable to Malaysians, yes, he can become the Prime Minister. Of course, Singapore you cannot, because they say no non-Chinese can become Prime Minister of Singapore. But here the law says that anybody can become Prime Minister. There is no specification that the Prime Minister must be a Malay, but he must be the leader of the majority party. That is the specification. If he can be a leader accepted by Malaysians, of course he can be, whether Malay, Chinese, Indian, don't ask. And we are faced with something that is too big to handle. You know, it is a complex of the whole system, and this requires international action. We will have to learn how to handle the problems that arise. Of course, if we are not good at handling it, we cannot achieve Vision 2020. That's very simple. But this thing, I can assure you, is going to be very, very difficult to handle.
Do you have confidence in Najib, Najib? Do you think he's steady hand to steer our economy through the troubled waters?
I have no confidence in Obama. And what about Najib? You know, because this is too big for Najib, too big for Obama. It needs international action, because all these thieves have been stealing money all these years. For the last 30 years they've been stealing money, because the system allows them to steal money. And unless you change the system, it's not going to stop. And to change the system, you need international cooperation, not just an edict from Washington. Betul, kita masih lagi belum bersatu. Kita belum bersatu, sampaikan kita nak buka sekolah bagi anak-anak kita belajar bersama pun kita tolak. Jadi macam mana kita nak ketepikan race? You tolak sekolah wawasan, bermakna you nak kekalkan racial feelings. So selagi ada yang itu punya sentimen, kita tak boleh nak ada bangsa Malaysia. PAS must no longer be confined to Malays. It must be open to everybody, not just Muslim. All non-Muslim also should join PAS, and PAS must have a non-Muslim as its president. And then DAP also should have non-Chinese, maybe somebody from Sabah or Sarawak should be the head of DAP. And Anwar must give a periodical change, like the Agung. Every 5 years change. Anwar should not be the leader of Keadilan and not leader of Pakatan. Then we can talk about non-race based party. Every multiracial party is dominated by one race. You see what happened to Gerakan, for example, or DAP. It's not multiracial. Even the PAP in Singapore is not multiracial. As is very clear when Sian Lung says, no non-Chinese can become Prime Minister. They are very open, but here of course we do one thing, we say another thing. We are very nice people. Saya nak beritahu, kalau sekarang ni seluruh negara tahu kata pemimpin-pemimpin UMNO yang dipilih ini guna wang. Jadi bila datang pilihan raya esok, mereka akan tolak kerana pemimpin ini semua korup. Semua yang mana yang dapat dicalonkan tu kita tahu, tak semua mengkali, tapi saya dapat majority itu guna wang, dan semua orang tahu dia orang guna wang. Jadi you boleh dapat jadi pemimpin UMNO, tetapi tak mungkin rakyat akan pilih you. Ini rakyat akan tolak, esok kalah lah. Esok bila dah kalah dah jadi jadi presiden UMNO pun tak guna. I think all these people should be investigated properly and removed from UMNO completely. UMNO must be cleaned up. If it's not cleaned up, I can assure you he will lose in the 90. That's why you can see the opposition very quiet, never say anything. This is nice, this is very good. They wanted, first of all, they wanted Dato' Abdullah to remain as president so that they can win. But now he's not going to be president. Now UMNO is seen by the whole country as a corrupt party. So now they will talk about how they are not corrupt and they will win the next election. UMNO, it would implode. UMNO won't implode, but people will reject UMNO. I'm not important at all. I think the Prime Minister says I shouldn't talk about UMNO. I'm not an UMNO member. You all also must talk. Are you my UMNO member? No, you're not. Don't talk about UMNO. See, only UMNO people can talk about UMNO. And since UMNO people think that the best way to get elected is to give money, that, okay, is approved by UMNO, but of course, general election, they will not get any vote. All these people who are coming up and who expect to be nominated as a candidate for election, they will all lose. Because who wants to elect somebody who bought his way up there?
Tun, do you think Tan Sri Muhyiddin is still the best candidate for deputy president?
Well, I think of the three, I would say he is the best.